So Gualdi just getting a little bit of water, pouring it over himself. It is getting more intense, the weather this afternoon. After last night it rained, it meant that it was a little bit fresher this morning. But now you're getting that intensity of heat and the altitude and everything combined. The more dense air that there is that we've been experiencing over the last few days. So Jonas Walton at the back. Oh, a little bit of a wobble on that bike. That didn't look quite right. Why, but his bike was kind of moving around underneath him there. Just heard on Radio Tour an announcement to remind everybody to not throw bottles outside feed zones, because I've seen a couple being thrown and gels being thrown, and it's not a done thing, particularly in Rwanda. So they've just put a warning out to stop that happening. I have to say I was impressed that here in Rwanda, single-use plastic bags are completely banned. You can't bring them into the country at all. That is a great focus on getting rid of the single-use plastics across the world, at least trying to do something in this country. And actually, when you look, there is no litter around this. I've not seen anything at the side of the roads. And so many other countries in the world, you have to, you just look and you can see plastic bags and everything. You don't see them here, and it's not that this area has been tidied up. That's how it is. Almost at the bottom of Kigali Gulf again. Less than we're just about 2 kilometres there till we reach there again. Jonas Walton quite happy to sit on the back with the Slovakian rider just in front of him. Let's see what sort of damage Kigali Gulf does this time. The drumming that's become so synonymous with these World Championships, you hear it everywhere. Belgium carry on with their pacemaking. I'm just trying to work out what their tactic is this afternoon. Well, they just want to make the race really hard for later on in the race. They've obviously decided they need to keep this momentum very, very high. They've got Jana Widar, who rides for the Lotto team. He's been in their development team for a little while, but he's moving to their next level up team, although there's lots of rumours about Lotto right now. But he won the Giro Next Generation in 2024. He's an incredibly talented bike rider. He also won Valle d'Aosta 2 years running. He's also won the Under-23 Liège-Bastogne-Liège, the Under-23 Flèche Ardennaise. He's an incredible bike rider, and he is potentially Belgium's winner of today. Jasper Schoofs is in there as well, though, and he is a member of the Soudal Quick-Step development team. So Jasper Schoofs could be another rider. He's finished 9th in Valle d'Aosta. He's won a number of bike races. He just finished 4th in Chrono Challenge Lendelede. He rode well in the Tour de l'Avenir, a top 25 place there. He was top 10 in Valle d'Aosta, and he finished all of the other big races of the season. So Jasper Schoofs is another possibility for today. The Italian team there, as Belgium set a very hard tempo, 2 of their riders are coming back. Kamil Eamon bringing back Jarno Wiedar that we were just talking about. You wonder why Belgium have been riding that hard, or probably the answer is that talking about. You wonder why Belgium have been riding that hard, or probably the answer is they didn't know these 2 riders are out the back. Jarno Wiedar looks around, little nods, wearing number 16. There he is, very, very comfortable. Doesn't seem to be having any issues today with the way he's riding. Very comfortable as he pedals his way back onto the rear of the peloton, and his teammates bringing him back. So Kamil Eamon is going to bring him right to the front of the race. Without the race radios, though, the 3 Belgian riders on the front have no idea that the pace they're setting is going to make life a little difficult for Jarno Wiedar this afternoon. Judah Thompson has abandoned for Thailand. He's got an appropriate number for abandoning. Number 59, Li Yu of China. That's a shame for Alaleli. He was in the breakaway and now he's abandoned the race. He gave it a shot. He tried to put the UAE on the map by going on the move. I think he got a little bit carried away. Once he was in that breakaway, forcing the pace at that time in the race is so difficult, but it was good to see the UAE represented in a breakaway in the World Championships. Through the feed zone, riders trying to get as much water on board as they possibly can. Got to be a mix of water and electrolytes for today's race, so that those electrolytes help with the absorption of the water. Not just pure water all the time. The riders also will be taking some carbs in their bottles, trying to supplement the gels they've got. But in this sort of heat, it's very, very fine line between being a little bit sick after taking so much water, gels and everything else on board, and being absolutely fine. This is Louis Leydart, number 4, coming back into the race. Louis Leydart rides for the Lidl Trek Future Racing Team. So he's in that feeder team into Lidl Trek, who've just, of course, signed Juan Ayuso. Back of the peloton, number 111, Laurence Laurent. Riding for Uganda, still there, still sitting in the wheels, doing a good job. Louis Leydart, though, 20 years of age, from Germany, riding for that Lidl Trek Future Racing squads. So he's got a chance of going into the Lidl Trek World Tour team if he continues to progress. He's just ridden Tour de l'Avenir, finished second on a stage into Vitry. On that day, he was beaten by Elliott Rowe of Great Britain. Still the peloton led by Belgium this afternoon. If you'd like to get in touch, at McCrossan, at UCI_cycling is where you can get us during these World Championships. This is the Kigali Genocide Memorial. A very important memorial in this region that we've seen on a number of different occasions, but each time we see it, it doesn't diminish the need to talk about it and see it. That genocide memorial, just about 6 kilometers from where we are right now. It's a real testament to the courage and unity of the Rwandan people in that unimaginable horror in 1994. And that memorial chronicles the efforts to halt that genocide against the Tutsi. On to Kimihurura again. That whole genocide museum is really important. A living memorial honours the bravery of those who fought to save the lives of everybody and the millions who perished during the genocide. A problem at the back for the Algerian rider, Oussama Mamouni. And just in front of him is Mustafa Taraki. When you start to feel the pace, you really feel the pace on this course. So still Belgium pushing the tempo. Mamouni of Algeria going out the back, 22 years of age, here in this under-23 World Road Race Championship. And the South African rider is starting to feel this as well. This is Joshua Dyke. He's not enjoying this climb at all. And his teammate is also starting to suffer on the left-hand side at the back as well. Warren Moolman is feeling the pace. And some of the fans enjoying the fact that if you cheer the riders on a bit, they go a little bit quicker and they get themselves back in the race. almost at the top of the cobbled section for this time. We reached the top at 121.9. Oh, big problem here. And Chain has got completely caught up. This is Kadbatar. And so many times this happens now, doesn't it? Where the Chain comes off, drops in the middle, completely blocked, and there's nothing you can do except stop. Still Belgium pushing this tempo. They've really taken this on. Is this the right tactic for the afternoon? Eritrea is still represented up at the front. Riders now getting to the end of their training for the World Championship on Sunday for the men's road race. This is Alouani of Morocco. He's lasted a fair time and now he's getting dropped. Remco Evenepoel has just finished his preparation with a distance of 163 kilometres, 4.5-hour ride, and he's just said on his details of that ride, his log of the ride, actually one of the most beautiful training laps I've ever done. One of the big bits of news from yesterday, for those of you just fans of cycling and watch everything, is that the UCI Mountain Bike World Championships are going to Durango on the 40th anniversary of the first edition. They're going there in 2030. Can you imagine how big that's going to be in Durango? Mountain biking, it's going to be unbelievable. The end of this lap then. We're coming up to complete our next lap and we'll have 8 laps of racing to go. The average speed has been up at around 41.2. Belgium are the team responsible for making that happen. 8 laps to go, just over an hour of racing covered. The average speed as we approach here, we'll take a look at what it's going to be. Belgium cross the line first at the front of this peloton of riders. 8 laps of racing to go. The average speed is 41.213 kilometres an hour. And in terms of number of riders who are in the peloton, still at this point in the race, 79 riders remain. So after the end of the first lap, it was 101. Now we're on 79. 39 riders are gone. There's the stats for you on the right-hand side. There's a lot of building going on around this particular area of the course, as you'll see in the background. Seems like there's a lot of development of this particular area. Here's a group of riders trying to make their way back into the race, having been distanced a little while ago. Includes Jonas Walton, the Canadian. Also in here is Joshua Dyke of South Africa. Never give in, you just never know how things might develop. Tekle Alameo of Ethiopia on the back. Also in here is number 85, and that's Munier of Senegal. He's the rider wearing the star on the back of the jersey, the red shorts. Amahoro Stadium means peace in Kinyarwanda, expanded now to 45,000 seats. And this stadium so famous for sheltering thousands of civilians during the genocide of 1994. It was used by the United Nations at that particular time. First hour racing, 42.3 kilometers an hour. It's a fast tempo in this men's under-23 road race. We're now at the distance of what we saw the juniors rides earlier on today. We've just heard that Samuel Novak of Slovakia has just abandoned the race. And a problem here for the German. And this is Mauro Brenner. It's amazing how many riders are dropping chains, isn't it? So Mauro Brenner taking an eternity to get this chain back on, and sometimes you just cannot see how it can go back on. Brenner gets back and underway. Rides for the team of Lotto Kernhaus. National under-23 German champion in 2025. Rode the Tour de l'Avenir recently, but didn't finish stage 5 into teen. Mauro Brenner getting going. His brother is Marco Brenner. Marco rides for Tudor Pro Cycling. The Italian team riding cohesively in the peloton. There we are in the blue jerseys. The team of Spain also seem to be quite locked together. So are Colombia. Seems like this race is firing on all cylinders right now. Everybody is pretty much flat out. Still, it is Team Rex. It's a monster effort on the front of this peloton by this rider. Just dragging the race out. And another problem here for one of the riders from France. So the Frenchman gets going. It's a little bit like Maxime de Combe trying to come back. Just checks in his pocket. He's had a bike change. Just trying to get his computer. And it's Antoine Lott who's coming back into the peloton as quickly as he can. That's for Decathlon, their development team, but next year he'll ride for the newly named team of Decathlon, CMA CGM. That's going to be a mouthful during the Tour de France, isn't it? It's funny though, you don't see CMA CGM anywhere until they name a cycling team, and then you see them everywhere. But Antoine Lott is a useful rider. He won Paris Tour Espoir, he's won a stage of the Olympias Tour, he won the overall in the Olympias Tour this season, he won the points jersey in Tour de Eure-et-Loire, and also was the third place rider in the under-23 National Road Race Championship. 64 kilometers an hour downhill. Getting ourselves into this next turn. .4 kilometers of racing remain. Heading towards Kigali Gulf, and then we'll make our way back to Kimihura again. Bottom of Kimahura this time is 108.1 kilometres of racing to go. So Antoine Lott nearly back. Good ride by him on that Van Riesel bike. He's measured that effort nicely, just riding steadily back in so he doesn't go over the threshold too much. We'll look out over Kigali. This area is amazing for mountain biking and road cycling. Forest trails around the Nyungwe to the volcanic slopes in the Volcanoes National Park for mountain biking. Gravel riding as well. Thousands of kilometres of rural roads and dirt tracks. It's rapidly growing in Rwanda. There's a race around Rwanda, self-supported ultra-endurance race, which is a gravel cycling event. And also, if you're out and about here, Congo Nile Trail, a 227-kilometre trail along Lake Kivu with 6 distinct stages. Amazing scenery, you can ride around there. As we've heard from the riders, they're getting to know some of the trails, some of the roads that are good to ride on around this particular region. Earlier this year, of course, the UCI opened 2 World Cycling Centre satellites in Musanze and Bugesera. They're in different landscapes to give athletes and teams a chance to train in environments while taking on the varied routes around here. And riders who come to Kigali always want to ride the Mur de Kigali. And the rider from Macau is still there, and he looked like maybe half an hour ago he was about to be dropped, number 120, Kam Chin-pok. Chin-pok riding for Macau, 22 years of age. He's the national champion of Macau. He's ridden a lot of races, mainly in China during this season, and the Asian Continental Championships as well. Number 57 is Kadbatar. Riding from Mongolia, still there, still riding strongly. Albeit he might be at the back, but you have to remember some of these riders have not ridden in pelotons that are this large or that are going quite this fast. They might have ridden some Asian races, they might not be at the level of some of the riders in the front. We're talking about World Tour professional bike riders here. So this is a unique and new experience for a lot of these African riders, and some of them are dealing with it really, really well. And it's good to see that we've seen Biniam Girmay win a medal here before in this championship, but it's good to see a number of other riders from Africa who are dealing with the altitude, the heat, the terrain and the speed that is being set by the riders in this group. Belgium coming to the top of Côte Kigali. I've put a curse on him now, haven't I? Kadbatar is going out the back. This is Derek Chevalier from Belize, number 84. See all the photographers sitting down there on this climb, trying to get the best photos they can get. I didn't know you could get a Haro road bike. Didn't Haro used to be one of the most famous BMX brands in the world? Still Belgium maintain this pace. Yeah, who knew that Haro did road bikes? Now that I've seen them, they look nice, don't they? Haro did. They were one of the most famous BMX bikes, of course. Based in San Diego in California. And another South African rider at the back. This might be the same one. It is Warren Millman. He's finding just that tempo on that climb just a little bit too hot to deal with. Just got to keep hanging on and hoping. This is Kozaris, who was one of the first attackers of the day. He's now abandoned. Didn't go his way today. Can Belgium keep this going all day? It's still a few hours of racing to go. I think well over 2 hours, nearly 3 hours of racing left. And it's riders who are prepared to just sit in here. Hamish Mackenzie, for example, number 45 that you can see there, just towards the back. Mackenzie's having a really quiet time, just sitting, waiting. Hamish Mackenzie, very experienced. He will ride for Jaco Alula next season. Third in the Under-23 World Time Trial Championship in 2023. Mackenzie clearly just happy, sit there at the back. He rides at the moment for Hagensberg and Jaco, a team that is was without doubt the best team in the world for spotting young talent. So many of the top riders in the World Tour peloton have ridden for Hagensberg, and now they're the feeder team for Jaco Alula with that combined thoughts and mind and experience of racing. Mackenzie, 21 years of age, wears number 45, second in the Oceania Continental Championships in 2023. See how Hamish Mackenzie does on today's race. We're still in the very early stages. We're coming up now to around about 60 kilometres. We saw early on Jorge Blas Diaz dropping the flag on the race start. He's the president of the Dominican Cycling Federation, and he was recognised yesterday for his role in the development of cycling at national and regional level in his particular area. It was good to see him being given that award. So the Macau rider on the back of the group. Nothing really has changed for quite a few kilometres as we make our way onto the cobbles yet again, and it's still Tim Rex at the front, pushing on the tempo for the team of Belgium, looking good and still dragging this pace out. Behind him is number 12, and that is Aaron Docks. And they're clearly riding for one rider and one rider only, and that is Jarno Widar. Going out the back now is Joshua Dyke of South Africa. You just feel like you want to give him a push and keep him on the back of that peloton, don't you? Now we get a bit of a move. One rider trying to keep his pace up alongside the Belgian riders who are really at home on these cobbles. This is the Rwandan rider who is going to be distanced now. Tuizere. Etienne Tuizere is dropped. Just can't stay with the peloton this afternoon now. And we're getting into that second phase of the race, where the riders have already covered that first section, and now they get inside that 100k to go shortly. They start to feel like the kilometres are ticking down well. So still the push of the pace. Dutch House is on the right-hand side of this climb. The Rwandan flags are flying as always. Belgium continue to keep the throttle on. Two South African riders trying to keep each other company at the back here. Warren Millman wearing number 78. Give each other a tap, say come on, let's keep in here now, let's keep this going. That's what teammates are all about. Joshua Dyke maybe coming to his last moment in this peloton, because look at the way that Belgium are riding. This is proper full-on bike racing. The speed at which Tim Rex is riding these cobble climb this afternoon is very, very impressive. Spain are represented up towards the front. Slovenia there on the left in that green coloured kit. Well, the Italians are still on the wheel of the Belgians in that blue coloured kit. Ecuador represented up towards the front as well.
Yes, here they are.
Oh, and this is hurting now. Two riders going out the back. Marco Brenner, who's not been able to get back in after that problem, and he's with Emery van Gezicht. Brenner asking for the team car again. We come up to complete another lap. This time we'll have 7 laps of racing to go. It's a steady burn, the Under-23 World Championship. The universal language of I'm about to get out the saddle, the flick of both elbows. Gives the rider behind the idea your bike might come back a little bit at you. So just give it a little bit of a gap. Italians having a little chat at the side of the road. Big move by the Eritrean, moving up on the right-hand side, just trying to keep himself in contention. So let's take a look at the average speed again this time, see how things have developed. 7 laps of racing now remain in this under-23 World Road Race Championship. An hour and a half of racing coming up. At the end of this lap, it's Pietro Matteo of Italy who leads across the line ahead of Tim Rex and Jasper Skoofs. 41.061 kilometres an hour now. And just to give you an idea, numbers of riders in the peloton, we've now got 75 riders there. We lost another 4. Bottle being thrown to some fans at the side of the road there, and some more on the other side. Bottles bouncing around as well though, and that's a little dangerous. You don't want to hit any bottles that could bring you down immediately, especially if they're full of water. Here's the replay of the riders completing that lap with 7 laps to go. After this race, we only have 3 titles left to decide. We've got tomorrow's racing. We'll be starting again early tomorrow with various bits of action. The men's elite races on Sunday starts at 9:45 in the morning local time. Tomorrow the women's elite race, which will be 164.6 kilometres, same as today on this local circuit. The women's junior race will be first thing in the morning at 8:20 in the morning, 74 kilometres, 5 times around this circuit. The women's race 11 times around this circuit. We're hoping the rain stays away. We've said we're moving towards rainy season. Hopefully it'll just hold off all the way until Sunday night. The women's elite race is going to be interesting on this this circuit. The men's elite road race on Sunday takes us into a massive extension circuit, which actually we drove around a few days ago and took a look. That's going to be some circuit that the riders are going to go on, because I don't remember much in the way of flat roads on that circuit, and it takes them out on this big loop, and it takes them over the Mur de Kigali, which is a famous climb, as we see the Campaign Against Genocide Museum we talked about a little while ago with this incredible sculpture. But we go over the Mur de Kigali, which is an incredible climb. We go over Mont Kigali as well, takes us up to 1,771 metres above sea level. So the riders in that men's elite race are going to come around that big circuit. They do 9 laps of the local circuit, then they go back out on a big extension circuit, then they do 6 laps of the local circuit. This is the lineup of the Spanish team. Two Canadian riders at the back now of this string of riders. Suddenly you can go from feeling great to not feeling so good. Well, we saw Harry Hudson earlier on, and we wondered what his next steps are going to be, and they've just been announced. Lidl Trek have announced that he is going to be riding for Lidl Trek Future Racing. So that dream of becoming a bike rider and having a career as a bike rider, because that's, in his words, what I love doing, riding a bike. As we see a puncture here. Puncture for Moreira of Portugal. And there's nothing he can do, he can't really ride on it. It's so gone down so quickly. So Harry Hudson has signed for Lidl Trek Future Racing, the feeder team of Lidl Trek. They've got their hands on him straight away. Puncture for this rider. It's been a long wheel change, this one. I do wonder if these teams are listening to Radio Tour, because I heard that call ages ago. This is a slow wheel change, very slow wheel change. The similar situation that has lasted now for nearly 70 kilometres, maintained by the Belgian squads. This race, 164.6 kilometres, and Belgium, pretty much since the start, have been on the front of the peloton. They brought the breakaway back that started early, and since then they've just ridden a team time trial, predominantly led by T-Rex on the front. This is Katbatar of Mongolia.
The Mongolian team.
We're inside the magic 100 kilometres to go in this under-23 men's road race championship.
Nawe baragushimira rero cyane komite nyobozi yose ya UCI Rwanda.
57 kilometres an hour. We've got 7 laps of racing to go. We're heading towards Kigali Gulf for the next time. We're going to get there in 1.6 kilometres, go up Kigali Gulf and head towards Kimihurura for the completion of the next lap. I wonder when another nation will start to challenge Belgium for this lead. I would imagine around about 60k to go. They're probably going to let that happen until then. Driss El Alouani is out of the race, the Moroccan rider. He was the sole representative of Morocco. He's now gone. Warren Millman still on the back. In front of him is number 117, Jonas Walton, who's been there. It looks to me like he's having one of those days where you are just nailed to the road and you're doing everything you can to ride through it. Australian Zach Marriage just dodging around at the back, wearing number 44. Greenwood and Mackenzie are his teammates. There he is, number 44 in the camera. Zach Marriage pedals his way up the outside. He's going well, you can tell that. He just looks comfortable this afternoon. Seems to be just dealing with this race, doing whatever he wants. Zach Marriage has had a stagiaire role in a team. Narayan Munier here of Senegal has abandoned the race. abandon here as well of Martin Barter. Talking with Barters with a slightly different accent on them. Will Barter, the American climber, is signed for Tudor Pro Cycling and announced today. 29-year-old Will Barter. He's got a 2-year deal with Tudor Pro Cycling now, so he's got some commitment and some long-term stability, or longer-term stability. That's good news for Will Barter. He's a talented time trialist, a very good climber, and I can see him getting better and better all the time. Belgium onto the climb again here at Kigali Golf. They must feel good. It must be a nice sight for Jarno Wiedaar to be looking at his entire team on the front, looking after him. Just been able to ride in the wheels, and the team basically taking everything on as we're inside that magic 100 kilometres to go. Still a lot of laps left, but at the moment everything is going their way. They seem to have the entire race under control. South African team tagged to the back of this race. Number 77 on the left-hand side is Blaine Kick. He won the Grand Prix de Tourteron in France, also finished second in Prix de Frière. There's been a lot of races in France this season, 43 racing days.
These guys at the front is just stupendous. Look at how everyone here
Will
behind
Piat
is suffering.
is out, and also out now is Samuel Couture of Canada. He's out of the race as well.
Early in this race, the Italians are enjoying the ride. They're sitting back, they've been looking at each other.
See the detail in that skin suit while we take a look at him there. Train riders are going well in this race, aren't they? When we look through the group of riders, they are still well represented. And I'm just taking a quick look. Macau still represented. South Africa, Germany, Slovakia, Uzbekistan, USA. Uruguay still got riders in the front group. South Africa, Andorra as well. Eritrea. Eritrea, to me, they've got 1, 2, 3 or 4 riders still in here, Eritrea. There we are. We take a look at them now. Wearing number 92. This is one of the riders from Eritrea, Michele. So things are going all right for them this afternoon. Milkias Michele and the rest of the Eritrean squad. I saw Daniel Tekelemenot a couple of days ago. He's here, obviously just being with the Eritrean team. Daniel Tekelemenot, who was a pro until, what, 2018? He finished his career with Cofidis. Rode for the likes of Orica Green Edge. He rode for Cervelo Test Team, for MTN Quebec and Dimension Data.
95.1 kilometers to go.
He was a winner, actually, here in Rwanda. Daniel Tekelemenot, he won the Tour of Rwanda in 2010. Remember him wearing a King of the Mountains jersey in, was it the Dauphiné, I think? as Dias Rizbey of Kazakhstan is now out of the race as well. Suddenly we're getting more and more riders coming into the pits. Back of the peloton, Ethiopia still represented here with number 86, Tekla Alameo. It's going well, isn't he? Bearing in mind, we are a long way in now to this World Championship. We're 70 kilometres into this race. They've lost Tesfaye, but they've still got two riders here in Haile Mariam and Alameo at the back. So you've got to be impressed at the way that these African riders are staying in this under-23 road race championship, because it's not been easy so far. This pace is relentless. It's one of those paces which really does destroy the legs. Last time we went through the end of the lap with nearly 60 kilometres completed, 58.9. And it was Belgium and Italy and Eritrea all at the front of the race. Still no major attacks since we saw the first attacks of the day. Those contained a number of different riders trying to make their move and trying to get involved in the action. We saw Pomorski of Poland, Alaleli of UAE, Yilmaz went on the attack, the Ukrainian rider Kozares went on the attack as well. As we reach Côte de Kimihurura for the next time, and still on the front. What a job this guy is doing. How is he riding like this for the entire time? The traditional drums, I do love the way that they've got all their t-shirts printed and everything is really detailed. There's a lovely shot across the cobbles to give you an idea of just how rough this surface is. And a moment where the legs start to falter from Svetkov of Uzbekistan, number 83, and also number 53, Zalka of the Czech Republic. Well, yesterday in other cycling news, as we see Belgium going to the top, David Lepantien was re-elected as the president of the UCI and announced that the World Championships are coming to 13 cities across 10 different countries worldwide, as they announced more dates in World Championships. We saw Federica Venturelli riding well the last few days. She's now just been announced with the UAE development team for UAE Team ADQ. almost at the top of the cobbles this time. The riders, when they get to the line, will have 6 laps of racing to go. And finally, the Belgian stronghold on the front of this peloton has been exploded by the arrival of Spain and also the team of Italy to try and rip this up a little bit. They're not impressed at letting the Belgians just continue, so now they start their plan. And a big move by the Italians as they start to rip this pace up a little bit now on the cobbled section. Big acceleration. That was a very, very big move. Suddenly, we get a long, long stretch of this pace. So it looked like it was Pietro Matteo who has upped the pace now, trying to get rid of the Belgian team off the front. Big explosion of tempo. It looked to me like Hector Alvarez of the team of Lidl Trek on the front. Now a little bit of a move by the Slovakian rider, not prepared now. Big attack of France, so number of riders want to try and break the will of the Belgian team this time. We come up to the line. This time we're going to have 6 laps of racing to go. Austria now started some accelerations too, so suddenly this little move means that everybody is suddenly sparked into life, and the peloton breaking into 2 parts. Well over 70 kilometres of racing covered now, nearly 74. We're coming up to almost 2 hours of racing. And now Belgium take control. The end of this lap. 6 laps of racing now remain. Across the line is Jarno Wiedar, who was the Belgian rider at the front. Average speed 41.079, so they've speeded up a little bit on that lap. And everybody taking a big deep breath. The peloton looks like it's coming back together, which would mean we have ended up with 63 riders left, 64 riders left. In fact, one more rider will probably come across. 65 riders. We've lost 10 that time in the main bulk of the peloton. Just hearing that Hamish Mackenzie's been dropped for Australia, which is a bit of a surprise. And I'm just taking a look. I've just seen Hamish Mackenzie just go past my commentary position. Significant margin down on the rest of the peloton. So it looks like Mackenzie is going to be out of the race. So Belgium take over after that little acceleration. Italy wanted to test things out a little bit by the looks of it. Hector Alvarez, the Spanish rider, the 18-year-old, just trying to inject a little bit more life into the rest of the peloton. He's a very talented bike rider, Hector Alvarez, one of the favourites for this afternoon, rides for the Lidl Trek Future Racing team. Finished 3rd in the Tour of Austria this year. Alvarez has done a lot of racing this season, 40 race days, which for a young rider is a lot. He comes from Benidorm. back of the peloton, number 19 here, Gomez. And one of those beautiful bikes of the Keepo Kern Farmer. If you've never seen these up close, they are stunning machines. The paint job is beautiful. He's got a contract there till the end of 2028. Started the Tour of Britain, didn't finish the first stage, had a crash or a bit of illness there, I remember. But apart from that, he's had a good season. And if you ever get the chance to go to a race where a Keepo Kern Farmer are actually there and look at their setup, the green of those bikes is quite amazing, actually. Looks very, very special indeed. 87.5 kilometres now remain on this race. 66 kilometres an hour downhill with the Belgian team in control. So the bands continue to play as the riders make their way towards Côte de Kigali Golf for another lap of racing. You can imagine by the end of the afternoon they're going to be pretty tired. They've been playing since 8 o'clock this morning, every time the riders go past. What the lips would be like by the end of the day. 28 degrees it is now, 11 km/h winds. The wind's picked up just a little bit. It's been a fast day, not a problem here for Jasper Schoofs of Belgium. He needs a team car. The team car is coming up. Jasper Schoofs, here comes the Belgian team car. And of course they don't have race radios, so they can only just go back and chat, and that's not so easy to do when the tempo has been as high as it has been all day. It's a bottle, but these riders are so experienced. Jasper Schoofs here rides for the Soudal Quick-Step development team. You can see he's on the specialised bike there as we head towards Côte de Kigali. So things have not really changed since that first attack of the day was brought back, and Belgium have been on the front for, what, 60 kilometres, I think, now, as the crowds get bigger at the side of the road. The sun is out, it's hot, it's getting warmer, and thanks for joining me for a little bit. Rochelle Gilmore, how is it out there?
Well, like you said, Anthony, it is really, really hot, and that's why you see the team director cars are giving the athletes ice to put down, try and keep their core temperature lower just to conserve a bit of energy that they might use later in the race. But it's a strange type of heat here. It just really knocks you about. Yeah. And a lot of the athletes have said that it's hard to acclimatise to this heat, even though it might only be 30 degrees. It's a different heavy type of heat.
It feels really heavy, doesn't it, when you're outside? I don't know what it is.
Yeah, it's super hard to breathe as well. Obviously, we're at altitude at 1,500 metres, but it seems to have an additional challenge to it with the thickness of the air.
Now, you've been outside for the day. You've had some meetings, as always. You're always busy. And you've been doing what you need to do out and about. But I'm really thankful for you joining us this afternoon for a little bit. How is the atmosphere out there? Because it does look like all the fans are out again. The atmosphere is growing, and it's another great championship day.
Well, in the vicinity of the start-finish, the finish line where we are here, it's nearly impossible to have a conversation with somebody because the drums are going, the atmosphere, it's loud, and it's impossible to have a conversation, or you have to use your voice. Normally I lose my voice when I'm commentating hours and hours, but when you're out and about here and wander around the finish line, if you're trying to talk to somebody, you actually have to yell at them because everybody's so excited, everybody's smiling, happy, dancing. So the atmosphere is absolutely unbelievable out there. I'm really happy to be tuning into this men's under-23 road race for a little bit. And they'll be racing 11 laps of this circuit, the same as the elite women will race tomorrow. And me, myself, well, I've been out there on a bike, and it is a tougher course than it looks on TV or on a profile or piece of paper. It's got beautifully smooth roads, been resurfaced especially for this championship, and then it's got that very, very, very hard cobble climb coming into the finish. So it's technically a difficult course for these riders, especially over the, the distance might be a little bit shorter than they do in other races, but here at the World Championships in Rwanda, this will certainly be a super taxing race, which begs the question of Belgium. They have got the clear favourite in the race, and they have dominated the front of the race from the start. Big question is, at this point of the race, with 83 kilometres to go, have they burnt matches too early? That's the only question. But they have, they look pretty relaxed, sitting in a line, and they've had one teammate just do a huge job. So it looks like everything's going to plan, and they look confident coming in as race leaders and taking control of the race. Let's hope all of their riders manage with the climate here and the distance of the race. So on this part of the circuit, the other day I had to stop and have a breather myself. I sat down and I had a couple of the organising committee come and ask me, would you like us to get a doctor for you? And I said, no, I'm all right. I'm just having a little rest, and I'm waiting for the Australian team to come by, and I'm going to say hello to a few friends. And we got chatting, and the locals here are just so enthusiastic about cycling. It's incredible. Everyone you speak to, they're so happy to have the World Championships here, and they want to be helpful. They're actually wearing T-shirts that say, please ask me, and it's written right across their back. So it's just to give you a little bit of perspective, if you haven't been able to make it to this year's World Championships, it's probably something we've never experienced before in terms of the organisation. So the UCI here at the World Championships have been very, very particular about riders using these cars as a way back to the peloton, particularly more than in other races. So riders have to be very, very careful if they go back to the team car not to use any slipstream assistance from the follow vehicles. So even though Belgium have been dominating for their race favourite, you can just see in the body language that there's not really that many other riders that are not labouring and moving their shoulders and swaying side to side any more than they are, so they look like they have things in control at this point of the race. Oh, an attack coming now from the Italian. Oh, Belgium are really, really demonstrating that it's their job to keep this race together. Try and neutralise it with putting a rider on the wheel. And then still the team will continue to chase whilst they have a rider in the break.
So Rochelle, two riders making their move now. This is the Italian rider who's been quite making a move at times, Matteo, and Scoufs, the Belgian. So the Belgian team have been riding on the front so much of today.
Yeah, it's interesting. You can see that, they put a rider to cover an attack. They had a rider protected that was, it's your job, you go and cover that attack. But at the same time, they're still chasing, even though they've got a rider in the breakaway. They're still chasing, so they've put all their cards on Wilder, their number one rider for today.
But the fact that they've been riding all day and they believe in Jarno Widar today, do you think it's the right thing to do when we see a team like this who've basically ridden on the front of this peloton for, well, now approaching, what, 60-odd kilometres, 70 kilometres, and one rider in that team has done the majority of the work? Big attack again as another move starts to happen. Why do you think Belgium want to ride like that all day?
Yeah, I think it's a very, very big question. I had a glimpse of the screen when I was having a meeting with one of the ex-presidents of the UCI in the VIP box, and all you could see is blue on the front all the time.
Yeah.
And I did ask the question, I said, do you think they're doing a little bit too much too soon? Because that's the big question. You know, now they all need to take a breather now, and there's still 80 kilometres left to go in this race, so that is a really big question. The tactic obviously was to keep the pace high to neutralise attacks until Widar's going to make a big move at some point. But just keep him protected, keep the pace high, and keep this race together until he's ready to go.
But we've seen teams do this before. I mean, the biggest example of this happening was Mark Cavendish in his World Championship victory, wasn't it? He was looked after all day, and he managed to win the title. But we've seen it happen in other races where Great Britain tried to control the Olympic Games and then they didn't win anything. And so it's a risky strategy to put all your team on the front like that.
Yeah, it definitely is. But like you referred to the win of Mark Cavendish, is that it also puts more pressure on you. And it's a good pressure where you say, OK, my teammates, they've done every single thing possible today. All I need to do is finish it off. So it adds more pressure when you've got a complete team like this. You can see Belgium is still back to the front, keep the pace high, neutralise those attacks, wait for Widar to make his move. But when your team does everything they're supposed to do, you feel like, OK, I've got that pressure on me, but they've done everything. I've just got to finish it off. Perfect.
Yeah, so it's good for him then. And he does look comfortable. He's looked like he's had one problem today, where he had to come back into the race, and he was paced back by Camille Eamon, who brought him back into the race really nicely. But apart from that, he's had pretty much an armchair ride, although it's quite hard to say he's an armchair ride around this course. Whilst you've been out and about, what are people saying about the course itself? Are you getting any sense of how hard it really is out there?
A lot harder than anybody anticipated before actually coming and not even saying riding it, but riding it at race pace over race distance. So if you look at it on paper, or you ride a lap, or you study the science of road surface, or all the technicalities and the scientific elements, the climate, all that kind of thing. The thing is that it's just so many different challenges here that riders need to deal with that they can underestimate unless they've done a full race of 164.6 kilometres, 11 laps at race pace, to know if, like you mentioned it earlier, that a lot of riders rely on their power data.
Yes.
But they can't hit those data here because they're at altitude and they've got really thick air to breathe in. And the cobbles are obviously taking a lot out of the riders as well. That's the toughest part of the course. So, yeah, I think the course has not been underestimated.
And now that we've seen the pattern of this racing going on, and tomorrow we'll be together for the women's race, how do you think it's going to impact on the elite races? Because they'll be watching this, won't they? There's a lot of elite riders watching this racing right now as we see an attack from Poland. How will it impact that women's race tomorrow, potentially, as Pomorski goes off the front? He's been on the attack already today, right at the beginning of the race. Can you see that we'll see just a peloton like this? Can you see attacks happening? How do you see that women's race will be impacted by the course, the terrain, and what we're going to see?
Well, it's interesting because I think now that they've seen it, and I've seen out on the course myself, riders like Anna van der Breggen doing laps at full race pace behind a motorbike, that there might be a chance that it's a non-eventful race because they're worried about the attrition, and it only takes a split moment to be dropped and the race is over here. It's not easy to get back because even the flat sections, they're not flat. It's a very up and down technical corners and obviously the 2 climbs. So it's possible that after what they're watching, that we might just see an attritional race until the last couple of laps.
It looks like that's what's happening in this race as well, where we saw an initial attack, then riders literally came from the front group and got dropped immediately as more riders drop out of the race at this point. And they've done, what, 90 kilometres nearly of this World Championship. This is Li Yu. We saw him hanging at the back for a long, long time today. And again, the Belgian team take control and make sure that the tempo is how Jarno Wiedaert wants it. Luc Valenti of Canada was just being distanced. Rochelle, we always say about World Championships, if we haven't talked about you and we haven't seen you, then it's